for coming early as well. She's the first of to arrive in this discussion. I would now would like to call the next speaker, who is from the National Assembly of Pakistan since 2018, and he is a leader of the Pashtun Tahafuz movement. I would like to call Mohsin Dawar to present as well our agenda on, or a response to our people's agenda on participatory democracy, human rights and migrants' rights. Mohsin Javed Dawar, the mic is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, for inviting me into this forum. It's really an honor. I think, as we have discussed in the start, that we have been through one of the worst phases, almost in all the segments of our life. We have discussed the social, economic aspects, and I guess the same is the situation with the word participatory democracy and human rights situations in the region. We know about what's happening in Myanmar and what's happening in the Philippines, as you have mentioned earlier. So it's almost the same kind of situation here, and we have for the first time, like, we have seen some dictatorships also in Pakistan, but still, there used to be some sort of protection for the human rights of the political workers, the journalists, and other segments of the society. I belong to an area, specifically in Pakistan, which used to be treated in isolation till the last election, which held in 2018, when it was merged with the Pakistan, and it came under the constitutional framework of Pakistan. It was kept like a backbone, and it was used as a strategic base for the strategic interest of the country in the entire region, like Afghanistan and all the war and terror and things like that. But still, after even many mega military operations, things are almost like the same. We are still facing extrajudicial killings. We are still facing displacements. More than 10,000 families of just my districts, they migrated to Afghanistan when the military operations were like, and these families are yet to be brought back. We have raised the voice in almost in every rally, in every forum, in the parliament, and almost everywhere. But these people are yet to be brought back, and so we are, experiencing a kind of a hybrid regime where in fact, there is democracy, but the actual powers lies within the military, and we have seen the examples of that, like whenever the legislation comes to the parliament, backed and supported, and if it is with the intent of the military, it goes past through all the processes, within few days. We have seen the amendments in the military acts. It went through the parliament so much smoothly that the entire process, it was completed within a couple of days or 3 days. And on the other side, if a private member submits any legislation related to human rights, it takes years, and it keeps lingering on in various forums. When I got elected, I submitted a bill on enforced appearances, and it lingered on for almost 1 year. It didn't come on agenda, and when it was brought on the agenda, it was defeated by the government because they outnumbered us. So the same is the situation almost with all the segments of power. Like politicians, they're facing persecutions, state persecutions. Laws have been used against political workers as a tool to silence them. One of our comrade and one of my colleague, Ali Wazir, he has been in jail for last more than 5 months just for speaking, really. And similarly, there are many other politicians also who are in prison just for speaking and criticizing the military, the role of the military, and the way they are encroaching into the civilian institutions, and the way they are micromanaging the entire situation now in the country. Another politician, Javed Latif and Khwaja Asif and Khurshid Shah, some belong to the major political parties in the country. We have seen some worse kind of persecution of one of our human rights defender, Gulala Ismail. Her father and her mother were persecuted just for the activism of her daughter, and they are still, facing cases. And if we come to the role of the parliament, as I said, that we are experiencing a hybrid regime, and the parliament and the media and almost all the institutions are very much in control. In the parliament, when we want to talk, even in the presence of in this the situation of the pandemic, where the parliaments of almost many countries, they thought and they debated that how we can take our people out of this situation. But these things were not discussed in the parliament. They were discussed in some other areas, which were mostly like controlled by the military. Similarly, there are major developments happening in the region. There are peace talks, underway in Afghanistan, and there is too much happening there. We have seen some kind of legitimacy being given by the international powers and the international community, media, to the Taliban, and they're trying to bring them back and impose them on the people of Afghanistan. I always, I also requested for a debate on that, because Pakistan is also a key factor, a key player in this whole game. But that issue is also not being debated in the parliament. Like the reps of USA, they came and they straight away go to GH2, and they discussed it, the military high-ups. They just bypassed the prime minister, or even in other words, the entire parliament. Similarly, all the other stakeholders, they interact with the military leadership instead of the civilian administration. Similarly, the militants are regrouping in the entire Pashtun belt here. And I have written to the president of Pakistan, Islamic Republic of Pakistan, to call a joint session and call for a debate on the regrouping of the militants in the region. But still, there is no response given. And even, if you want to talk on the floor of the parliament and want to discuss all these things, still we are not, most of the times we are not given the floor, even when we start talking. Sometimes even if we get a floor, they just, switch off our mic, and we are unable to continue our point of view and convey the message, convey the actual situation to the people. But the one thing which Okay, the same is the situation with the journalists also. We have seen journalists being picked up. They have been they have been kicked out of their media houses for their opinions. They have been picked up. They have been harassed. They have been tortured. They have faced like some worst kind of weaponization of law. Similarly, the same is the situation with the judiciary. We have seen how the justice Paisa was treated, and we have also seen some other member of the judiciary who didn't obey the orders, who at some time stage questioned the role of the intelligence agencies in the military, and we have seen, the way they have been tried and the way they have faced the media trial. So all these things, as I said, like all the segments, all the pillars of the state are under oppression and they are under control, and we need to form some sort of alliances and international alliances to join our voices together and to sit together. But it is for the first time what we have witnessing in Pakistan here is that people are now they're now questioning, and it is for the first time that they know that who actually is responsible for all the mess, the economic mess, the worst kind of situation which they have faced in the pandemic, like as earlier it was, discussed the unavailability of vaccines and all other stuff. So it is the only change, the positive change which we right now have seen is that people are now questioning because of the micromanagement the military is doing. People are now questioning the military, and the political groups with an anti-military narrative, they are very much attracted by the people, and they get a very loud response. So people are now participating. Although the system is very much controlled, the oppression is on the peak, but people do speak, and they come out, and they know that what is happening and who is controlling and who is pulling the strings. So I support the charter because are really discussed, and we need to focus on all the issues regarding the human rights, and specifically in the context of Afghanistan. I would like to go and the adjacent Pashtun belt attached to that, because the new emergence of violence and the legitimacy given to the Taliban who are there, it will increase the violence and chaos in the entire region, and we all need to think seriously about that. Thank you so much.